Hey, what's going on there, folks? Good evening. Welcome back here to another update on this wonderful Thursday night. Winter solstice here today. Longest night of the year, I guess. Least sunlight. It is about 10:26 p.m. California time here. Latest activity looks like some movement into the Fiji area. Got some deeper movement kicking up here once again. From a pair of earthquakes here within the last couple hours, way down there, close to the 600-kilometer mark below the surface. Looks like looking at a little bit of movement down in New Zealand and the Kermadec Trench as well. Still really haven't seen too much activity stirring up across this region here about Papua New Guinea through the Solomon Islands area. Got to watch this region pretty closely because we've been seeing some movement over here to the east and also on the west. Doesn't stay quiet for too long in that area, so we've got to watch that for some further larger scale movement here soon, I'm sure. A couple fours, magic number out there across the Indonesia Islands area and the Philippines. Japan region, was looking at a little activity in the Japan Trench earlier this morning. Looks like we did see a couple more earthquakes, including one up north here, further up along the northern edge of the Japan Trench, so things are straining here slightly across that area. And up here in the Kuril-Kamchatka, pretty deep earthquake from this morning. That's going to be a 175 kilometer 4.3. Still adding some strain up here. Notice not a whole lot of surface adjustment taking place, but one day it will, and it will be in a big fashion. The Alaska region over here, seen a swarm of activity. This is where that 6-pointer struck earlier this morning. 6.1 to be exact. Since then, it looks like we have come across a few aftershocks in that same area. A little bit more heightened movement here across the Kanaga volcano. I said to watch this following this movement. It looks like we've seen a mixed bag of before and after the larger quake activity here across this volcano. Just been having a little bit of earthquake swarming up there. We'll check out the volcanoes here in a minute. Movement across the rest of Alaska shows, a couple different volcanoes getting hit. One of these got quite a bit of a deeper earthquake movement underneath of it. I'm going to have to work on that. But this volcano right here, I don't think we've seen too much activity stirring up out here. But some deeper movement taking place there across that region. Also over here across the Trident volcano and further west along this mountain range, still seeing some activity in the Alaska region. Up into the Pacific Northwest here, a handful of smaller quakes, nothing big going on. Mount St. Helens still seeing some very small earthquake activity. Looks like those two are from last night. Far as the Yellowstone area goes, I seen someone mention today that Yellowstone was having a lot of earthquake activity, so I had to jump on and see what was going on. Let me pull this up. I didn't see anything at all. This activity up here, I'm not for sure what it is, but if you think about this, right, if this is a legit seismograph station showing earthquake activity, we would notice that very close here to this station. And I'm not seeing any signs of earthquake activity. If you guys are referring to this movement right here, well, those are earthquakes, but they are distant earthquakes there. One was at when was that? About 7:30. The next one about 9:30 or so. Let me show you which one those were, guys. The larger earthquakes this morning. I believe that's going to be one of them that we've seen. These large earthquakes, remember, 6-pointers and even sometimes 5-pointers, depending on how deep they are, can show up across these seismograph stations. So there's the one. And, of course, it takes a little while for the P waves or the S waves to travel, right? So it's not going to be instantly at the same time as the epicenter area. It takes a little time for those surface waves to get to that seismograph station there in Yellowstone. And then a couple hours later, we had that 5.7. So these two earthquakes coincide with these two signatures right here. Those are not local seismic or local earthquake activity, but distant, larger earthquakes. First one's going to be the 6.1 there in Alaska. And then the second one, a 5.9 down in South America. That originally came in as a 6-pointer, so, and that to me it kind of looks like it is a 6-pointer just because it showed up so nicely across these seismograph stations. But yeah, as far as local seismic activity goes, folks, it's really not really seen too much. Maybe some very small earthquakes up here. This other movement that you see here on the map, it doesn't really show up too much. I'm talking about this activity here and this down here. Whatever that is, it's very localized to the area. I don't know if those are geysers going on off up here or not. I know Old Faithful sometimes shows up on there as well. But that activity, if it's magma movement, fluid movement, we would see it. We would definitely see it show up here across this area, and it's not on any nearby stations. All right, further across the west coast here, Northern California, really not seeing too much activity. Got one little earthquake south of Mount Shasta, 2.2, about 9 kilometers deep or so. Nothing major going on there. What's up here? Little mountain range up here outside of Oak Ridge, Oregon. About 6 kilometers deep or so. Bay Area of Northern California, pretty quiet. There's, obviously a handful of smaller microquakes, but this is all common. Things like this happen on a daily basis here. And in fact, this activity right now that I'm looking at looks a little bit below the typical background daily activity out here. There's really not a whole lot going on in Southern California. Very small earthquakes, no direct swarming going on in certain areas. Just looks somewhat typical out there. Movement here across Nevada as well. It's on the eastern side here of the Sierra Nevada mountains. Not a whole lot. Looks like 2.9 up here across this region of Mina, Nevada. Remember last year? Was it last year or the year before? Maybe it was. I can't remember. I kind of make a map, or keep a list of when these earthquakes of interest took place. But there was a 6-pointer up here a couple years back, and there was a couple good swarms keying up out here across the Candelaria Hills area. I went out there just right after that earthquake struck to see if I could find any surface rupturing, and I did not. But they did. There was like a little road over here that got affected, but they had already fixed that. So a little bit of earthquake activity striking out there today with a 2.9. But no major swarming going on. Way off the coast here at Tijuana, 3.2, 21 kilometers deep, but nothing unusual. Movement stretching up here from about the oil fields here of Texas through some more oil fields. And literally, if you look at the Snyder, Texas area, there's a lot of oil fields out here. I find it weird, though, that these two earthquakes struck... Well, I mean, who knows how the pressure affects each of these, these areas, the crustal weak areas now that have taken place, these wastewater disposal ponds and the whole fracking operation. It's hard to put my finger on exactly why certain areas get hit and why others take years to be hit with earthquakes, but one of these days we'll figure it out. But those two earthquakes, obviously within oil fields. This one, it's out there. 2.8, it's away from the main oil fields, but who's to say that there's not some other oil fields going on out here right now? I don't know when the satellite imagery was taken, but it could have been a couple years ago, so maybe something has developed out here, but who knows? Either way, look at that. Goodness. Somebody making some money out there, big time. All right, what else we got? Some movement way up into the beautiful state of Kansas here. Outside the, what do I see? The Smoky Hill River. I'm not really too familiar with Kansas. Beautiful area. I'd like to go up there and travel and check it out a little bit more. But this, let's see where this 3.1 struck. Looks like there's some type of undeveloped land out here. A lot of these are farmlands. Obviously, you can tell they've been developed, but This here, I'm not for sure exactly what it is. I don't know if it's a wildlife refuge or what, but also it looks like there's some type of hilly feature out here. A little bit of hills going on out there. Not big ones, but definitely it looks like something's going on out there. I don't see any oil fields. Okay, let's back out of here, see what else we got here. There's that movement down in South America. Remember they had that 5.7. Also had a 5.0 a little bit further down south earlier in the morning time. Look at the earthquake 3D globe here. Let's see what we got going on over in that area. It doesn't look like too much activity is stirred up following that 6 point, or the see on here, these guys are still showing that as a 6-pointer. But we'll continue to watch that region. Puerto Rico area, still seeing a handful of earthquakes up here, but nothing major or spectacular going on up there for now. Let's see what else we have here. There's that deeper activity across the Kermadec Trench, and nothing too active. I mean, there's not a whole lot of activity to report out here across the Atlantic for now. Let's give a quick glance here across the Iceland region, see if anything has changed up there. I don't believe it has. We will know if it's getting ready to. We have a really short window of opportunity to get people to safety if we see an incredible earthquake swarm taking place somewhere. In the last 12 hours, only 17 earthquakes here, and that looks like that's for the entire Iceland area. Things across the Svartsengi area and the Grindavik region down here, look, as you can see, pretty quiet. I did check out the right here. Let me refresh this, make sure I got the most recent image. Here's the lava field. The lava, the fountainings, the craters here from that fissure opening are no longer active. Obviously, there's still going to be some heated areas out there in the lava field. But far as I know, this eruption is over, at least for now. There hasn't been any, eruptive activity out there today. A look at the, let me go over here and go to the Icelandic Met office here. This was put out earlier this morning. They stated that no visible eruptive activity was observed. So we'll just watch it, right? I still think there's a lot going on here in terms of the potential. Look at this aerial view. That's actually pretty awesome looking. Let me back out of here. This was put out from yesterday. Basically, it's the same thing. At this point, it is difficult to predict the continuation of the eruption, but scientists at the meteorological office are constantly assessing the latest data and continue to closely monitor. We got to watch for, obviously a little further influx of magma below the surface that could amplify conditions out here in a big way. I'm not really happy with the amount of GPS that has taken place here as far as the deflation. There was only minimal adjustment to the deflation there across the Svartsengi area, meaning that there's still quite a bit of magma below this region. So, yeah, we'll continue to watch that. Like I say, there's not a whole lot of change on that right now. Definitely continue to keep an eye on that. When I see this, I think maybe something new has started up here, but it's not. They might want to, I don't know if they might want to adjust that or not, but things are, obviously inactive right now. Let's see. Let's go ahead and check out the rest of the earthquake map here. I don't know if we got anything extra here to chat about. Hawaii is just kind of, I don't know, kind of dwindling down here. There's it's been a little pause in this activity as well here across the big island of Hawaii. Let's go check out the tilt meters and whatnot, see if anything has changed out here. I don't think it has, but you never know. Let's go here to UWE. Kind of noticing a little upward trend here in the last 24 hours, it looks like. But it's hard to say, really hard to say if we're going to go above this level of previous higher inflation there at the Kilauea volcano. But we'll continue to watch that, see if anything changes with it. The earthquake activity out there looks very minimal. Not seeing any magma movement, any fluid movement here on the map. Just some very small earthquake activity, and that's it. It's very small. There's not a whole lot going on out there in the Big Island currently. All right, what else is there, folks? Anything major going on here across this area of the world? Doesn't look like it. It's a handful of smaller quakes, very typical across this region. All right, let's go to space weather activity and see what's going on here. Oh, man, I don't know why today I feel like a dragon or something. It's feeling tired. For sure what's going on here. But as far as space weather activity goes, I don't see any major flaring going on right now. As far as the sunspots go and the potential of some flaring, well, as I've stated here, the separation of these cores are not a good thing in terms of complexity. So you can pretty much discredit 3 of these. I'm not impressed with any of these out here, actually. There's not a whole lot of hope in terms of seeing any large flaring from these sunspots. There's quite a few. But like I said, you could have 100 sunspots down here, and if they're all looking like this, well, there's not a whole lot of potential out there. Maybe with this one right here, it's hard to say. There's a little bit of close proximity within that core, but which number is that? That's going to be this one right here. So 3526. We'll keep an eye on that one. Maybe, just maybe, we'll see something kick off from there. We did see, over the last 24 hours, it looks like we did see a small little M flare peak up and a couple other C flares, but there's really not a whole lot of potential out there. 99% chance for a C flare, M flare at 40, X flare around 5% chance or so. Not a whole lot of roars taking place up there. Things are fairly minimal across the board. Not a whole lot of hope in terms of the solar aurora potential. Let's see what we got here. A little bit of severe weather potential down here in southern Arizona. Looks like mainly wind. Is that wind and hail potential from that low pressure system that's kind of spinning up here into the area, bringing with it some flooding concerns there into Southern California. That's going to kick up those potential thunderstorms here in Arizona as we head into tomorrow's time frame. After that, well, it looks like that low pressure system here that's going to hit Southern California is going to interact with some potential weather out there in the southern plains and portions of the Midwest, bringing with it not a whole lot of snow, but some warmer conditions, it looks like, and rainfall chances. After that, well, it's hard to say. I've noticed that the potential storminess out here for the West Coast has really backed off. I'm hoping that's not going to be a typical pattern, because that would not be cool. I want it stormy and wet. So the North Pacific out here, if we watch this thing right now, trying to see what's interfering. I got this high pressure right here. It's just kind of poking its nose and no business out there in the middle of the Pacific. It needs to go away and create that little linear jet stream out there that would send these storms further south. But the high pressure out there is just kind of messing things up right now. So we'll continue to watch that and see if this changes, because models have really backed off here in terms of precipitation out here over the next 10 days or so. Here's the next 10 days. I mean, that's not a whole lot. This was looking way more active here yesterday and the day before. So looks like maybe up to an inch or so, hopefully. They're in Northern California. But again, this is a ways out there, right? We've seen how quick it can change, but this goes all the way till January 6th. So there's really not a whole lot in between there. But let's hope that these models change because I don't like that. Let's see what else we got. Anything major? I don't think there's anything else. Seismograph stations here look pretty calm. I need to add. It looks like I need to add. What do we got? Station there in Iceland, Petrolia, Japan, New Zealand, Hot Caves, Hawaii. What am I missing here? I feel like I'm missing a couple. Oh well, I'll find them. I'll add them up on here and see which ones I need to add. For now, folks, have a good one. We'll catch you guys back out here tomorrow, which is Friday, end of the week. Made it to the weekend pretty much here. We'll catch you guys back here tomorrow morning sometime. Have a good night and stay safe out there, folks. Peace out.